Okay. This is when Ms. Richins tells you that she found out that Eric died of a fentanyl overdose, right?
You're gonna have to let me read it, but in my mind...
Well, go ahead and look at, right there where it's highlighted.
You know, I didn't know what fentanyl was then, so I don't know if that's why it didn't stick, but I remember... I mean, I can go through and read all this if you want me to.
No, I just want to know if this is the text where she told you. I mean, you don't have to know what fentanyl is. Is this the text?
It's written right there.
All right. I just wanted you to confirm for the jury what the date of that text was.
4/15.
April 15th of 2022.
Yes.
All right. Now let's go on to when you met with Ms. Richins a couple of weeks later and you drove up into the Uentas. You with me?
Yes, yes.
All right. And you just testified about a conversation that you had with her at that time.
Yes.
Right? And you told, well, let me back up. You were interviewed by, I don't know if it was by the prosecution or by their investigator in about the spring of 2023 about this case. Is that right?
It was warm outside. I don't remember.
Was it shortly after Kouri was arrested?
I think, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's when you told them about this conversation, right?
No.
When did you tell them about the conversation? Let me ask this question. You're the one that told them about this conversation. That information came from you, correct?
Yes.
Why did you tell them about this conversation?
Because I was trying to figure out what happened. And, oh man. So, never for a moment did I have a clue, a hint, not a fleeting thought that something intentionally might have happened to him, right?
Right.
Let alone from her. So, you know, I think we'd gone a year without speaking at that point, and I don't know if I turned on the truck radio and heard she wrote a book and wasn't surprised, but then I started. I listened to the interview she gave about her book, and then maybe I did some research on my phone and saw that she had just been arrested, or either she just got arrested, I don't know, days later, a week later.
Okay. And then do you recall who you met with when you talked about this conversation?
After I found that out, I was overwhelmed with, guilt, sorrow over my wrongdoings, infidelity. And,
okay.
And that's when I called. I was trying to get a hold of Eric's sister to tell her. I don't think she was home. I spoke with her husband instead. Told him what I told him, and he told me, I forget the guy's name, but he said, I think there's somebody that would like to talk to you. And it was the Richins family private investigator. I think I called him immediately after I hung up, spoke with him. I don't recall the ins and outs of the conversation, but he told me that Kouri had done it, that she was guilty. He couldn't tell me why, but she and that changed everything for me, I was blown away, and then I'm like, looking at everything in our past with a different set of goggles on, through different lenses, and I was trying to figure out if she did it and I could help. That's what I was going to do, and that's okay, sometime after that. It wasn't the first time I met with the investigator. I think it was the second time or something. It dawned on me, oh man, You know, what about that one time she asked me this? What about the time she said that?
Okay,
And
so let me just stop you just for a minute so I can ask a couple of questions. So Investigator Gabler, the family's detective, just told you she's definitely guilty.
I don't know if he used the word definitely, but said that,
She did it.
right.
All right. So then you started thinking back with 20/20 hindsight about conversations,
Right.
which led you to think of the conversation in the Uentas. Fair?
Yes.
All right. Today, sitting here, when you think back on that conversation, does that conversation seem like it was a strange conversation to you?
Man, I can't tell one way from the other anymore. I've been confused for years, you know.
This conversation was about more than just what you did in Iraq, right?
Yeah.
This conversation, was it about just life and death in general?
Yeah. It was about that. It was about lots of things. It was about the boys. It was about shooting a bow. It was about God. It was about supernatural stuff.
And at the time you were having the conversation, did it seem like a strange conversation back at the time it happened?
At the time it happened, her and I just experienced supernatural things. So no, there was nothing that was surprising at that. The talk was not surprising.
So it was in context with things that were going on and that you were talking about at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know why you were talking about bow hunting? Why was that part of this? It seems a little different than the rest of the conversation.
She was talking about she was talking good things about Eric and how phenomenal of a man. And I don't know. And she mentioned it, how good her boys were, or I can't remember. One of them can, one of them can't. At that time.
Bow hunt?
Well, I don't know. It was one of them was shooting a bow, one of them wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. But
So she wanted to learn to shoot a bow. Is that what that was about?
she did. She told me that.
Okay.
Or she already knew how. I don't remember.
When you and Kouri were together, were you aware that Eric had an affair also?
I was told that.
All right. You'd mentioned during direct that you did work for Kouri here in Utah, and that sometimes she would just pay you in lump sums. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Do you recall a lump sum she paid you in the amount of $25,000 after Eric died?
I remember that lump sum. My timeline's pretty foggy though.
Okay.
I feel like it was after he passed. Yes.
Okay. And was that for a house that you flipped together that she felt she owed you money on?
Yeah, I think.
Is that what you thought it was anyway?
That was, if not all of it, that was definitely a large part of it. I mean, I don't know. Yes.
You were aware that Kouri got a life insurance policy, right?
Yeah, she
Okay.
texted me one time. I believe she texted me. She had just found out and sent a text like, look at this kind of thing.
And what was her reaction about receiving that life insurance?
I don't know. It was through texts, I believe.
Well,
And she just seemed like surprised. Like it was unexpected.
it was unexpected she was going to get that policy, is what your impression was of her demeanor.
Yes.
Okay.
We're sitting here right now. I mean, it's in the text messages, though.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that Kouri was protective of Eric and his reputation?
Yes.
So after Eric passed away, did Kouri see you as often as before he passed away?
No. I mean, immediately thereafter, we didn't see each other at all for a little span of time, and then, no, I think she was doing things with other people, grieving, whatever she was doing. So,
Did she appear to change after he died?
yes. How so? Like, yeah, I mean,
Well, I was hoping you could tell me how you thought she was different after his death.
I would just say in the normal ways that anybody would be different after something of that magnitude. I mean, the effect it has on her children and how she's got to handle that. You know, you can't go from that to talking to me on the phone and be the same, I don't assume.
Did she come across as happy that Eric was gone?
No.
Did she come across as grieving or sad?
Yeah. But I didn't see her in that window directly thereafter, but when I saw her, I think it was more sporadic
Okay.
than usual. But yeah, there were times where, you know, she was bent out of shape in front of me.
All right. And you said you couldn't remember how long you continued to see each other after Eric passed away, but does 3 or 4 months sound close?
I don't know, because it was so sporadic. It was like a chunk here, a chunk
Okay.
there. But I thought it was longer. I thought it was 6 to 10.
All right.
I don't know.